was right. I'm 23 weeks. I know I say it every week. It's crazy. I am like so excited right now that I have actually made it so far, and I'm almost 6 months pregnant. That's like insane. This week, the baby is the size of an ear of corn, which Brian says is awkward. Kind of cool looking. And this looks like fake, I think, but it's actually real corn. Basically, 8.5 inches, and he is 1.5 pounds, which is that 1.5 pounds? Yeah, that's 1.5 pounds. I feel like he's huge. He just feels so big and he's kicking me so much. His movement is insane. It's so strong, so powerful. His kicks feel like they're coming out like 2 inches. Like sometimes I'm like, oh wow, that was kind of crazy, which I know that we're only starting with the kicks, and it kind of just scares me. What am I in for when I'm 30 weeks? I'm definitely noticing that he really only kicks on the left side. I don't think I've ever honestly felt a kick on my right side. I'm going to talk a little bit about my bicornuate uterus today, but I don't know if that has to do with it or not. It's kind of weird. Feet are starting to kick my ribs, and it's getting really crazy. I'm enjoying it. For the most part, I'm pretty much fine. Obviously I'm uncomfortable because I'm so big. You know, again, a really good week, basically almost no back pain, hip pain, just another week of almost no symptoms, I guess you can say. Actually, earlier in the week, I noticed that I started feeling some really strong kicks down low. Not like near my cervix, just lower belly. And I had never really felt those strong kicks down low. And Brian had even put his hand on my belly. He's like, I've only felt that when it was up high. So I've known that this entire time that he's been head down, head down. So when I felt those kicks really low, I was like, oh my gosh, has he flipped? So I assumed that, his kicks are down low and he must have flipped. And I started to panic. I really started to honestly panic. I actually posted on my Facebook, like, can someone tell me, like, if he is face down, what are some ways to, and I've heard a lot about spinning babies, a lot of this, a lot of that, but I do need to explain something really clearly. Why are you panicking? You're 23 weeks. Who cares if he turned? He'll turn again. So I'm going to kind of describe to you the issue. I know I've talked a little bit about it, but I'm going to go a little bit more into detail. I have a bicornuate uterus, and if you don't know what that is, most uteruses look like this. Just a hole, like an oval kind of shape. And then there's like a heart-shaped uterus, which might have a little dip. But my uterus actually comes all the way down really far. And it's not considered a septum, but it comes really far down. And he actually implanted on the left side, which I know that's the right side for you. So I'll do the left side. No, I'm going to do this side. What happened was, basically, when the sac grows, he stretches out the left side of my uterus, and my right side becomes almost non-existent. So he is basically only in the left side of my uterus. The way I kind of understand it in my brain is that if you were to, like, for instance, if you were to carry twins, your babies would only have half a uterus to grow, basically, because the other one is on the other half of your uterus. So my baby, he is only in half of my uterus, which means I have about half the space of a normal pregnancy when they get to have all of this. The problem is with that is babies normally like to stick themselves head up and obviously breech. And with a bicornuate uterus, you cannot turn them. And honestly, I've read a lot of stuff that says you can't even really do spinning babies. You really shouldn't be doing anything. I'm going to really do a lot of research on whether that is true or not, whether if I can do some positions to turn him back if he were to go head down. For a doctor, they will not touch me no matter what. They will not try and turn my baby in any way. What that means also is that the baby is going to run out of room a little bit sooner than maybe a normal pregnancy. So in a normal pregnancy, the baby could be turning right up until, 35, 36, 37 weeks. Even after that, I basically have a good chance that about 30 weeks, that's it. He could turn, but chances are that if he's breech, he's probably going to stay breech. But if he's breech as of like 35 weeks, they will book me a C-section no matter what. I'm a C-section, end of story. And like I said, I'm going to look at a lot of things, a lot of options, but with my bicornuate uterus, the risks are just so much higher. And so you know, honestly, the most important thing is obviously to have a healthy baby that comes out safely. And if I have to have a C-section, I'm going to have to do it. But it is not my preferred way to go. I actually would highly prefer not to do C-section. I very much do not want that. I want to have a natural birth. That is my goal, my plan, and it's my dream. Like, honestly, my dream is to give birth naturally. Someone gave me a few suggestions on what to do. Number one, they said one of the most interesting ones was to check with your Doppler and see if his heartbeat is still down low or if it's moved up high. I checked, heartbeat was still head down. Actually did end up feeling his kicks right back where they were as normal. So I've kind of chalked it up to, I really do think that he's still head down. And I also just think that he's really gained a lot of strength in his arms. So now he's kind of doing a little bit of punching with his arms. But we will find out for sure at my next appointment, which is in a couple days. Some symptoms I've been having, I really haven't had a lot. I'm basically, obviously, big old belly and stretching and pulling and doing all those crazy things. But as far as like nausea, any of that, no symptoms. But I did notice a new thing, which is a little bit of a TMI subject. So if you don't want to hear it, then you probably shouldn't be watching pregnancy vlogs. Pregnancy is kind of a TMI anyways. At night, when I go to the bathroom, I obviously have to go pee a lot. I go to the bathroom and then I clean myself up. And then as I'm walking to the bedroom, and I get into bed, I always find that my underwear is like wet again. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's been driving me crazy. Like, I basically, every time I go to the bathroom at night, I have to change my underwear as I'm walking back to the bed. I laid down. As soon as I laid down, I'm like, oh, crap. And then I coughed, and then like more came out. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I kind of figured out that, you know, what's happening is I'm gonna have to start like really repositioning myself as I go to the bathroom to help all the pee come out because it's basically getting squished and stuck in like those little tubes in there. I don't know how to explain it, but and then as I stand up, like baby moves up and everything releases and then the rest comes out and I end up having to change my underwear. So that's a little bit of a new thing for me. I did want to talk about some cravings I've been having, which I don't usually talk about my cravings because I really don't have a lot of cravings. They're just kind of random and like all of a sudden I just have to have this right now, you know? I will say that one of my most common cravings is milk. I want milk all the time. Literally, I have to wake up, I have a nice tall glass of milk, and at night, oh, I cannot wait to have my nice tall glass of milk. It's like the most exciting thing for me. I kind of talk about my body changes last week, and I had mentioned that I was starting to see like what I think are possible stretch marks, and I got a couple of comments saying, you know, maybe those aren't stretch marks, maybe those are spider veins, and I don't know for sure whether or not they are, but I think that they could be spider veins because they're just very thin and small. Next, I'm gonna show you my belly. Okay, so here's the front with my shirt on. Whew, I'm getting so big. I'm now at 38 inches around, which is crazy. I think that's a total, it's kind of hard for me to measure things, but I think that's a total of about 3 inches. Alright guys, so I think that is it for today's bump date. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like this video if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! These are just
poop goes there.
Our very first diapers, and we are in love with them. We just are so excited to get really started on our cloth diaper stash. So.
And I told Missy, I was like, I didn't even think about all-in-ones. Like, there's so many different kinds that we're gonna go through. The all-in-one is an interesting one because you just pull it off and throw it in the bag or throw it in the washer.
And we know, like, we can't choose a style, we can't choose our favorite, so we know we're gonna have to buy a couple of everything and figure out what we like. Okay, we're at the dairy. And John, Brian's friend, says, hey Missy, where are the bathrooms? And I was like, just because I look like a cow doesn't mean I work here. It was really funny because he was like, okay. I cracked myself up. Let's get started.